What's up everyone, George here, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to boost your credit for free. That's right, I said free, completely free. No credit counseling needed, no paying $1,000 to fix your credit. So watch this video and learn how to improve your credit and save money while doing it. What I'm going to show you today will help boost your credit within 30 days, even sooner, and significantly improve it within the next 6 months. Now, for those of you out there that don't know what credit really does, well, you need credit for everything nowadays. To rent a car, to buy a house, to buy a car, to get a rental property. They check your credit to either get a loan or to even just rent things nowadays. You need good credit to get things. If you don't have credit, people just shoo you aside unless you're paying everything in cash. And idealistically, you don't want to pay everything in cash. You don't want to give all your money away so you have none to either invest more or have a piggy bank just in case. Your credit score is important. I can't get through enough of this. So don't neglect it and build that bad boy up so when people check it, they're like, oh, hello, Mr. 800, what can I get for you? Instead of shooing you aside like you don't matter. You want to matter to everybody. And your credit score helps with that. Remember, you can always check your credit report whenever you want on either your credit card's website or free credit report sites like Credit Karma. So before you follow any steps of this video, please just go run your credit report for free really quick. Verify your identity so you can go along with these steps to better your understanding and to help you right then and there. And once you run that for your credit report, you'll see all derogatory marks, late payments, what can do to improve your credit, why your credit's low. It will really help you out. So let's just jump right into it and let's talk about what can actually help improve your credit score and why your credit score is where it is right now. Number one, credit card payment history. This is the biggest factor. It's 35% of your credit score. This one's kind of simple. Even though it's the biggest one, pay your card on time and you'll never ever have to worry about this one. Your credit report will show 100% payment and you're good. You can just go to the next step. But for those that sometimes life happens and you do miss a payment, it's not the end of the world, and I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate that. Now, if you do miss a payment, try to pay it off within 30 to 60 days. The longer you wait, the more it's going to impact your score, and we don't want it to impact our score more than we have to, more than it's late already. Let's just pay it off quick. You know, oh, I forgot about it. I didn't mean to. Let me just pay it off as soon as possible. Now, my favorite method that almost nobody does, but it's the biggest helper in making sure you never have a late payment ever on any card, on any payment ever. And it's called auto pay. It's so simple. You go on your credit card website, you click auto pay, set minimum. So if you can't fully pay the card off, that's fine. Pay the minimum so you don't get that late payment. Yeah, it's better to pay off the card in full, but if you don't have the money, it's better to just pay off a certain portion so you don't get a late payment and you get more payments, which helps improve your credit score. And again, if you can pay off your credit card in full, do it. Use your credit card like cash. If you use your credit card like cash, you will avoid all those extra fees from your credit card. No interest payment, and then you can collect those juicy points and that free cash back and improve your credit while improving your wallet at the same time. Who doesn't want that? Now, the way they calculate this, the credit card agencies, is they take all your payments and they put them together. And then they take all your late payments, subtract that and divide, and then you get your credit payment history. So let's say you have 100 payments, but you're late for 5 of them. That's 95. So you'll have a 95% credit card history report, which isn't good for payment, right? We want to stay within that 99 to 100% payment rate because credit card companies really want to make sure you pay on time. And 99% of the time is okay, but anything under that, they don't really want to deal with it, so it really impacts your credit score. Sometimes if you do have a late payment, you can dispute it. Even if you really can't, you might as well try. There's no harm in being like, hey, I've been paying on time this whole time. Can you please take off this one late payment? And sometimes they'll just be like, sure, yeah, why not? They don't have to, but sometimes, they let you. So don't forget to ask. It's never a bad thing to ask. Or to avoid all of this, just set that auto pay and forget. It's the nicest feeling in the world, not being like, oh, what do I got to pay this month? Oh, I'm going to forget. Auto pay. Goodbye. Now for derogatory marks, or the things they remember that you didn't pay, and they always remember, they will never forget. Like I stated before, if you don't pay things off, they get worse and worse and worse. After 90 days, they can send it to collection agencies, which really impacts your credit and gives you that derogatory mark on your credit report. And we don't want any of those on our reports. So pay off those late payments as fast as you can. The newer ones impact your credit score even more. So try to pay those off first than the later ones. I don't know why that makes sense. I guess because they're more recent, so they want their money faster. But pay off the most recent ones before the later ones. Just pay them all off before they get sent to debt collections, and then you're dealing with this whole scandal where, oh, we're going to lower your credit score if you don't pay us now, and they hold your credit score ransom, and we don't want that. Like I said, try to avoid these at all costs. They can stay on your score for about 7 to 10 years. That's a long time that it affects your credit report. Also, you can always dispute these or negotiate these marks. What that means is if, let's say you owed $100 and it went to debt collections just wants to get some of the money back. They don't need all of it, so sometimes they negotiate it down. So instead of 100, you can pay 75, and they'll just remove the mark off your credit score. And even better, if the company went bankrupt, you can dispute it completely because the company doesn't exist anymore. So how are they going to collect their money? Which is a really good thing for you because you didn't have to pay anything and you can get it off your credit report. So always try to negotiate and dispute claims. Just check on your credit report. It's completely free. All you got to do is sign in, go to your derogatory marks, and you can dispute them right on the credit report website. It just gives you categories. You click them, hit dispute, and it sends it on its way. And they'll tell you if it gets removed or not. Super simple, one click and go type of thing. Second, we have credit card use, aka how much do you use your card without keeping it maxed out all the time? This equates to 30% of your total credit score. Credit card agencies want you to use your card, but they don't want you to max it out because that shows irresponsibility. Now, if you max out your card and pay it off instantly, it doesn't equate to you maxing off your card. But if you max out your card and don't pay it off or can't make the payments for a while and just pay minimum payment, that shows that you couldn't afford whatever you bought and you couldn't even afford the payments. So it shows that your credit card use is higher than it should be. Overall, you want to keep your credit card use or your utilization to under 30% or 0 if that's possible. So let's say you have 5 credit cards and altogether they give you $1,000 of credit bunched up. Let's say between all those cards, you're using $500. So you have 50% credit utilization, meaning you're using 50% of your total credit. That is not good. They don't want to see that. You want to pay down those cards to at least under 30%, and it will really bump up your credit score. Number 3 is credit age, which equates to 15% of your total credit score. Now, this one's like a fine cheese. The older it gets, the better it is, and the smellier. Not all the time, hopefully. This one sounds easy, but can be tricky. When you think about it, it's just, oh, how long have I had a credit card, right? 10 years, 20 years? Yeah, but it's an average of all your cards together. So you had one credit card for 10 years. That's your only credit card. You go and open up another credit card after 10 years. That credit card will be your second card. Now, you just opened that up, so you have no age on that. So they're going to divide that by 2 because it's an average of all your cards. So you just went from 10 years history to 5 years. Your credit score went down even though you upped your credit limit and you got another card. That's why it's better to just keep older cards open, even if you don't use them, right? You want to keep them older because they make your credit score look better. It buffs it up. It has that old credit card that smells, but you know, we don't really use it. We just keep it on the side to make our credit look better. And that's not a bad thing. Use that old card every now and then. Go buy some gum on it just to show it's active. Because if it's inactive for too long, credit card companies might shut it down. That's also why you see some people with student loan debt, they'll pay off a big portion of it so they're not paying interest on it. But once they get to a certain amount, they just pay what they have to pay to prolong the loan because let's say you had it for 30 years. That's 30 years of credit history, and you don't want to pay that off. So you just pay the minimum amount and let that credit history, that old credit history, just keep pumping that credit score of yours. Because we don't want a brand new cream cheese. We want like a stinky, a very bad like brie, some of the fancy cheese. And that's our old credit cards. We got to keep them around. Now, fourth, we got total accounts, which equates to 10% of your credit score. This one's super simple. The more credit lines you have open, the better. The more diversified credit, meaning credit card, car loan, house loan, student loan you have, the better, because they want to see you can juggle multiple different credit lines and still pay them on time. Now, if you do pay off one of these credit cards or one of these loans, your credit score might take a slight hit because you have lower total accounts. But don't fret, it's not that big of a portion of your credit score. And as long as you still have a good amount of total accounts, you'll be fine. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to pay off my car. I don't know how my credit score is going to do. Don't think of it like that. Just think of it as the more lines of credit you have, the better. Now, the last and final one, the fifth method on your credit score that impacts it, about 10%, are hard inquiries. And this is just every time you apply to a credit card. It's really, really annoying every time you apply to a credit card that your score gets dinged. Mine gets dinged between 10 to 30 points sometimes when I apply. And you get really frustrated. But these come off over time, so they're not that big of a deal. But sometimes they can be on your credit report for about 2 years, which is even more frustrating. Now, with this, like I said, they come off, but knowing this, if you're about to apply for a house loan or a car loan, try not to have applied for a lot of credit cards before that, because your credit score will go lower. Wait till after, so your credit score can reflect higher. This is also a good thing to know, because you don't want to apply for like 10 credit cards and then your credit score goes from 800 to 500 and you're like, whoa, what did I do? Everything's on time, but I just applied for 10 credit cards and I went all the way down. So don't apply for too many credit cards at the same time. Spread them out so your credit score doesn't get annihilated randomly. Now, some quick additional tips I want to go over one more time that will help increase your credit score right away. Remember, go check your credit score. Make sure all the derogatory marks that are on there, if you have any, are correct. If they're not correct, dispute them. Get them off your credit report. And if they are correct, negotiate them down. You don't have to pay the total. Debt collectors love negotiating because they want to get the money from you. So negotiate. And don't forget, the company's bankrupt, you can dispute it. If it hasn't gone to debt collectors, or if the debt collection agency went bankrupt and they're not there anymore, later, derogatory mark, thank you for the freedom. For those of you out there that haven't started a credit line and need to start, a secured credit card is the best way to start, or one of the best ways. Now, all you have to do is apply for a secured credit card, and they ask you to put down a couple $100. It's usually $200-300. And this is collateral, just in case they give you the card, you go spend all the money and you start running away. So they're like, all right, we knew this person had no credit, so at least we have the money if they run away. Now, eventually, once your credit score gets better and better, your secured credit card will upgrade to a regular credit card and they will give you that money back. So if you spend $300 and your credit card upgrades to a regular credit card after some time, you will get that $300 back. Now, another way to increase your credit, if you don't have a credit, before you're even 18, is becoming an authorized user. And this is a great method that almost nobody uses. So let's say your parents, when you're younger, have great credit. Now, all you have to do is have them sign you on as a authorized user. And every time they use their card and pay their card off, you reflect that. And you reflect the age. So let's say you were 13 until 18, you have 5 years of credit history before you were even 18. And it reflects their credit history. So make sure whoever authorizes you has good credit. Because if they have bad and they pay bad, you're going to look bad. And we don't want that for your first credit history report. Now, this final tip I'm going to tell you today is about increasing your credit limit. This helps because if, let's say you have $500 and you have a $1,000 limit, okay? So you're using 50% of your credit, right? Now, if you up that up to $2,000, you're only using 25% of your credit if you still only have that $500 amount due. And all you had to do was call your credit card agency and be like, hey, I've been paying on time. I have a great credit score. Can you up my limit? And most of the time they'll agree with it. And if not, okay, you shot your shot. but you have nothing to lose in asking to increase your credit limit. It will increase your credit utilization and your total credit limit, which is always good for increasing your credit score. So don't fall for those credit card agencies that are like, hey, Joe Schmo, let me charge you about, $2,000 and I'll fix your credit score. They can't do anything I just didn't tell you about today. So don't fall for them. Keep your money and increase your credit score yourself. Remember, increasing your credit score will help you in the future with better interest rates, saving more money, and getting those juicy rewards from credit cards that you couldn't apply because your credit score wasn't good enough before. So if you guys liked anything in this video and it helped you out, I would really appreciate if you hit that like button. It would really help the channel out. And if you guys want free stocks, they're down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.